to assist you with community policing, that's fine. If we have to come there to have a show of force that we can be civilized and demonstrate peacefully, that's fine. But to leave things in the configuration that they are right now, I will be so remiss not to tell you that there are a lot of people nationwide that are ready to descend on your city to extract justice if you cannot give us some type of guarantee that something is coming soon. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Brother Johnson. I appreciate you and the words that you spoke. And let me also say that, first, I don't want it to be construed that I am the chief of police. I'm not the chief of police. I'm the chief of community building.
Understood.
I have 6 governmental agencies that report to me. Most of my agencies are the front-facing agencies, public health, the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, Louisville Zoo, Parks and Recreation, and also the Office of Resilience and Community Services and Youth Transition Services. So I'm on the mayor's staff. I report to the mayor, and so I just want to make that clarification in terms of I do have the title of chief, but it's the chief of community building, not the chief of police.
Right, well, but Ben, where I'm at with it, brother, between you and David James, who's on here, president of the Metro Council, man, everybody can get in touch with everybody, man. That's all.
Absolutely.
So exactly, man. So it's not if you want this call, man, you can make it happen. And the reason this call is happening is because you just heard what that brother said, and that's a fact, man. And I wanted people on the phone that can make decisions and have decisions made that can kind of hear what's going on. And I'm glad that he just said everything he said at the end as far as with the community police part, everything. But that is going to come here to the community either way, so we can go ahead, because it's like it's kind of a situation, man, where we've been bullied too long, and we got a big brother that's got our back now, and and everybody's tired and ready to take a stand. And it's black, white, Latino, it's everybody. So it's a different day, man, and it's to make a change, and we can do that. And right now, if people need to step down, resign, whatever they need to do, that's what needs to happen in this case, man. Because you just heard what he said, man, and it's the truth, man. They're gonna come from everywhere. That just to be a part of history, or even all photo ops or whatever, what people are coming here for, whatever. All eyes are on Louisville right now on this decision. So, it would behoove to make a very wise decision, because life will not go back to normal after if the wrong decision is made, and thinking this thing is just going to be swept under the rug. It's not.
Right. And, one of the things that is very clear, and I think that, if you looked at previous protests and you've seen the history of the city and the history of this country, in this essence, we know that this issue is not just a local issue, not even a national issue. This is a global issue.
Right.
There are people all over the world that are looking to see in terms of how Louisville is going to respond, what's going to happen, how the decision is going to be made. And as of right now, the decision is in the hands of the Attorney General. All the information has been turned over to the Attorney General, that he would be the one that would be responding in terms of making a decision. And so that's where the case stands in terms of now. And I can't mention much beyond that in terms of the case itself. But the one thing I can share with you is that he has all the information, and we're waiting to hear back from him and his decision based on what his investigation is.
Let me ask a quick question with regards to, I understand the details may be confidential and this is an ongoing investigation, and we respect that. But is there any information that you can provide with regards to a timeline? This appears to be the sticking point of this entire case. It's been over 100 days. Right. What is the timeline? Give us something so that we can say, okay, we're going to wait until this particular point in time, because the people are tired of waiting. They're really tired of waiting. They didn't waste any time locking people up yesterday. They didn't have no problem with that. What is the timeline? We don't need to know the details. We don't need to know the gritty details, but you're not even telling us what the timeline is. You've got folks walking around who are under the impression that you don't care. And the danger in that is when you act like you don't care, the people are going to act like they don't care. and we have to get in front of that because that's not who we are. Can someone please speak to that?
Absolutely.
And David, like, you said something right. Like in the 60s and the protests and everything, but man, one thing that they didn't have in the 60s, they had it, but they took it out. But they didn't have somebody that had the back of the community. Like what this brother's saying right here, it wasn't nowhere in the community.
Hold on a second. First, I hear you, brother, but the only person I hear is you. I'm looking at two other gentlemen who haven't said a word the whole time we've been on here. I want to hear from them too. I don't just want to hear you interpreting what I said. Remember, I'm a representative of the people you don't want to come to your community. So the two other brothers I'm looking at right here, since we all black men on here together, and this is about a black sister that got killed, I would really like to hear from these two brothers respectfully.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. This is Stephen, and pleased to meet you, brother.
Mr. Taylor, no disrespect whatsoever, sir. He wants to hear from David James.
Oh, okay.
The offensive James right now.
Oh, I didn't see I thought he was on the line. I've been talking, so.
Right, Ben. I'm just saying that people want to hear from y'all, man. See what the deal is. I can't answer the question on the timeline. That's on you all.
Let me say something as it relates to the timeline and very specifically about that. And that is in terms of, as when the case was turned over to the AG, that's one of the things that everybody's been asking in terms of we too as an administration have been asking what is the timeline. He has consistently said that he would not give us a timeline in terms of when we can expect a decision to be rendered. And that has been his response from being consistent in terms of when he's spoken and any time he's spoken publicly. He said and has been consistently asked by the public, what time frame are we looking at and how you're going to respond? And he has consistently said he is not going to give us a timeline. He wants a full investigation. That's been his rhetoric. But we're continuing to push for that. We're continuing to urge the Attorney General to be as swift as possible and as accurate as possible because the people want justice and they want it now. And so that's where we put with regard to the timeline, that we don't have one specifically as it relates to the Attorney General. It's on his time in terms of when he would decide to release that information. President James, speak.
So, Grandmaster Jake, good to meet you. I would differ a little bit with what Vincent James says, and that is this. The shooting occurred on March the 13th, but because of piss poor police management, not enough resources were dedicated to this particular investigation. And so the Attorney General did not receive the full case to investigate until about 3 weeks ago. Even though the mayor got on TV and said that he gave the case to the Attorney General in May, he only gave part of the case to the Attorney General in May. And so, even at that, not having it ready in May and not even having it ready by the end of April is inexcusable. But that's because of piss poor leadership. And so now we're stuck waiting for the Attorney General to tell us what he has found out. And I'm not saying that we should excuse what had happened by any means. I don't think we should. That's what we're investigating, what the mayor and mayor did not do as it relates to this case. In the best of worlds, a week or so after the shooting took place, the mayor should have gotten on television and said, a horrible thing has happened. We did a search warrant and an unarmed woman was killed. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And we're going to do X, Y, and Z. But he did not do that. And so we're in this position that we're in right now. And so that's why we don't have a resolution to tell you that it is or is done because of piss poor leadership.
Thank you for that information, but it now raises a different question. The question that, let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please.
95%, excuse me?
Let me finish, please, to respond to what he just said. That's fine, and thank you for that information. But the question that now raises is, well, the Attorney General reports to the governor. So are you now telling us that the true dialogue that needs to happen should be with the governor and not at the city level?
No, sir. The Attorney General is independently elected constitutional officer. He reports to nobody but the citizens of Kentucky.
Well, the citizens of Kentucky appear to be expressing their will to have something done right away. So are you now saying that the Attorney General is not responding to the will of the people who elected him? The mayor is non-responsive. The Attorney General is non-responsive. So now you're telling us that the entire governmental structure of Kentucky is as backwards and racist as the world wants to think that it is? That if this had been a white woman that had been shot in her home by the police, that we would have seen it all over the news and that there'd be somebody in custody right now. Now you're telling me that an individual who has to report to nobody but who's supposed to reflect the will of the people is going to take his sweet time? Let me ask you all a question. Then if there's no check and balance for the Attorney General, then what is the purpose of having him? Please, somebody speak to this, because this is not going the way that you want it to go. Thank you.
Let me share this with you, and let me say this. I just let you talk, David. I just let you talk. I'm letting you talk. And I'm going to let you talk. We're going to be respectful, and we're going to honor one another as black men on this call and be truthful. So I allowed everybody to talk, and whoever talked, we'll do that. To respond to your question as it related, again, to the timetable I shared with you. And one of the things that I would definitely specify, that when the mayor turned over, why it went to the Attorney General, the mayor has requested that the Attorney General and has also have an independent investigation with the FBI, and he's turned those over to them because he wants to make sure that truth comes out and justice is taken and rendered. And so that's why the Attorney General, he has the information. That's why it's gone to him. Also, that there's an independent investigation with the FBI, and those two have happened as a direct result of the mayor requesting this. In May, the Attorney General had 95% of the information in terms of it leads to the case from the city. There was a 5% of the 5% of the information which had to deal with the forensic that had to come later. It wasn't ready. We sent over 1,000 pages of documents as related to this case. There was enough for him to get started to begin with the case. So it has been in his hands since that time. And so the mayor has explicitly expressed that his desire is to make sure that truth comes out and that justice is taken.
And I would respond to that by saying, Grandmaster Jay, if I gave you a book and asked you to review it, and I'm going to give you 95% of the book, you can't review it.
Thanks.
All right? So I would say the mayor's being a little disingenuous in that conversation. The second thing I would say to you is that I'm not sure of how the political structures of every state is, but I know in the state of Kentucky, the Attorney General is independently elected by the people. Second thing I would say is that the police department had the case from March 13th to 3 weeks ago, and so that's a long time. I would suggest that I would like for the Attorney General to give some sort of timeline on when he anticipates that he's going to be finished with that. But I'd also tell you, he's only had it for 3 weeks. So that is what complicates the situation.
Thank you for that answer. That's still, that's good to know, but it still raises some dire concerns, my friend. And because I'm looking at the screen, I'm pretty sure that you could stand on the square when you tell me that those things that you told me are factual, and that because he's only received this 3 weeks ago, the normal turnaround time, as we've seen in cases that have been prosecuted where we've had shootings, we've at least had someone arrested and charged while the Attorney General decides whether or not we're going to go to a grand jury or an indictment. We all know the process. Kentucky is a commonwealth, just like Virginia is a commonwealth. I, having grown up in a commonwealth, I understand all of that. But what I'm saying that given the circumstances that we're in right now, given the climate of the world that we're in right now, that I would think that the sense of urgency to address this before things spiral hardly out of control and we have a worse situation than we have right now is something that I would think that all of us would be inclined to prevent on all levels. And it appears to us that there is a sense of apathy along with the urgency of getting this done. I'm not refuting what you said, but as I said before, the purpose of me coming to this meeting was to get enough information that I could go back and speak to the population and say, here's exactly what's going on, folks. Everybody pump your brakes until such a time. But when we don't have an outflow of information like was coming out of this call, when we have to dig and hear all of these different excuses of who got what when, it sounds like the ineptness, it sounds like the lack of concern points back to a very dangerous pattern when it comes to African Americans when they're gunned down in this country, whether it be by the police or at the hands of another citizen, such as in the Ahmaud Arbery case, which we also got involved with in Brunswick in Georgia, which showed a complete lack of concern all the way up to the district attorney and so forth. So what we're hoping and what we're praying is that we're not looking at this again. And if we're looking at it again, I'm going to tell you all right now, we're out of gas. We're out of patience. You're out of time. Something needs to happen. Someone needs to step forward and tell the public, this is what we're doing. We don't need the details. We don't need a definitive date. But what I'm trying to make you aware of, every black man on this call, if you are a true black man and not an Oreo, I'm going to call it out loud, that what you're sitting on right now is a powder keg. And it's going to take more than what you've ever seen before to put it back. And we're trying our best through a dialogue of information and communication that we can avoid this conflagration in your city. I know the pastor doesn't want that. I know the members of the mayor's office does not want that. I know the members of city council don't want that. I know the citizens of Louisville don't want that. Yet there are people in the world who do, because they don't understand the procedure. They're not respective of the process, and they've been shortchanged and lied to so much that they're thinking this is the same old, same old. Now, we do know that the police chief got let go, and that some folks probably need to step down, and that this system of I don't know what to call it, this good old boy network atmosphere that appears to pervade all of these places in the South is what the people are seeing. Perception is some people's reality, gentlemen, and the perception right now is that Louisville don't give a damn. That Louisville says y'all can protest all you want. So what? That Louisville is going to do the same thing that other places like Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Cincinnati, Ohio, and a few other cities have done when it's obvious that a crime has been committed against a law-abiding citizen. Not a criminal who was arrested and something went wrong. Not somebody who was in a police chase. Not one of your top 10 most wanted. You got the FBI investigating in your house because somebody dropped the ball. And all of you brothers that are sitting there in all of these high positions who have insight and visibility and contact with these people, as the gentleman said, cannot sit here on this call and tell this brother who's trying to stop an army from marching into your city legally armed, and y'all don't want this to be the shot heard around the world. Because we're hearing about all the things that are going on in Louisville, people shooting off the roof, sniping at people, all kind of craziness going on, because this is the atmosphere we're in, gentlemen, and we're trying to achieve peace, we're trying to achieve unity, but most importantly, we want some justice. Not just a slogan, but some action. So at this point, what I'm hearing is that it's out of all of you all's hands. Everybody on this call is a victim to what has happened thus far. Everybody is waiting right now. And what I came to let you know today on behalf of the NFAC and the 47 million other African Americans in this country is that you run out of time. You inherited something that you probably don't deserve. I've been to your city before. I was there for the Muhammad Ali funeral. I was at the KFC Center with a beautiful time, even though I lost my car and had to walk around downtown trying to figure out what parking deck I parked in all night. But that's irrelevant. Other than that, you're not the city that you want this in. And if this comes to your city, I'm trying to let you know, if you can't give me something or someone that we can go talk to, if that person is not in this room, that's fine. If I got to reach out to the Attorney General directly, that's fine. If I got to call the governor, I will. If I have to call the congressman, I will. I don't know how much you guys know about me on this call, but I'm a former candidate for the presidency. Trust and believe. I know all the people in all the right places to make the phone calls, but I'm talking to you because this is your house.
Absolutely.
So, I hear your thing, but we don't have to. The Attorney General does. We don't control him, and I would suggest that's probably who needs to be on the call too.
And I would definitely agree with that.
Is it possible, gentlemen, for us to arrange a call with the Attorney General on the call? And who needs to make that happen? Is that someone that the mayor has to invite him in? Can one of the citizens invite him in? Can we get the Attorney General to sit on this call and join us in this dialogue so that we can avert a worse situation in your city? And I'm being extremely honest with you.
No, we can definitely attempt to get him on a call and to set something up. We'll be glad to be able to facilitate that. But again, it would have to be his decision in terms of being able to do it. But we would definitely take ownership in being able to get him on a call and make that happen.
Gentlemen, I remind you of what Martin Luther King said. He said that at some times, silence is betrayal. His willingness or unwillingness is an answer to us. If he answers and he comes, fine. If he blows us off and doesn't want to talk, that is an answer. Either way, we'll enjoy either one. So I would say at this time, this has been a great time talking with you, gentlemen. I don't feel like this. I mean, we got some good answers here. Thank you for explaining what you have explained for me to take back to my constituents. But I don't believe that the individual that can answer the question that's burning across America is on this call. And it's above and beyond the way your state is structured for us to get the answer. There's no need for me to question these fine gentlemen here because of the simple fact that, as you said, you've done your due diligence. And now it's in someone else's hands. So the real reason that Louisville, Kentucky appears to not give a damn about the death of Breonna Taylor is simply because an individual that was elected by the people is not doing the will of the people. And that person is not involved in this dialogue. If I'm missing something, I would like for you all to let me know. But other than that, I thank you for your time. I respect all of you for the job that you're doing. But I have not gotten the answer that I need to stop what's going to happen. Gentlemen, is there anything else we need to talk about?
There's one thing I want to talk to you about. I just want to make sure you're fully informed when I say this, okay? When the Attorney General and the FBI were asked to look into this matter, they were asked to not only review, but to investigate, again, whatever findings were determined. So I just want you to be aware of that, okay?
I understand that there are some extenuating circumstances that have come out with regards to some of the other factors. I'm aware of all of those, and I understand those are separate investigations because they lead to a much deeper problem, But I think that the American public is understanding of that. They're not stupid. But the immediate crime, the 3 officers are still employed. Even if they're off duty or off the desk, but they're still getting paid. They haven't been fired from their jobs. One of them was, and then but he petitioned to get his job back. The audacity of that when this woman's family still hasn't gotten any justice. So we understand that there may be some other things going on. But what we find interesting and what we find most egregious is that they weren't even arrested. Not even arrested. Even if they're out on bond or something, they're not even in the system. Do you know how that looks to black Americans right now, in spite of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and everyone else? I don't have to go through the list. We're out of gas. We're out of gas. George Floyd was the last fume in the tank. Now we on a wish and a prayer. So now that you've got a black militia that is pledged to defend black people, it is your responsibility now to make us think that you're doing that for us and not leave that in our hands, because there are those of us out there who don't care about what you're doing. And I'm sharing you with these sentiments. These are not my sentiments. These are the people's sentiments. They're tired of the excuses. They're tired of waiting. They're tired of saying it's in someone else's hands. They're tired. And they're tired now when they're legally ready to do something about it. And the only thing standing between that is you guys and this Attorney General. I would implore you to get him on a call. Please reach out to me. I am here. I am available at all times. If you can get him, I would definitely be there to hear from him. What is the prognosis for us getting justice for Breonna Taylor? And I thank you for your time, gentlemen, and bless your families. And I'm so glad that we could all get together like brothers, like we back in the village, and work some things out.
That's right. And
I have one question for you. I just want to make sure that I got your contact information, so I can make sure that we're able to set the call. And I want to be clear too that when we get the Attorney General on the call, is it all the individuals who are on this call currently that you would like on the call as well?
I would like, Vincent, I believe that you should have everyone who's present so that we don't have to try to remember what someone said. But I do believe that because you all represent the local face, as I would say, the force on the ground. But we just need him to answer those questions. My contact information is available. LeBron has my contact information. I have him on speed dial. He's number 2 right now next to my mother. But he can call me at any time, and I will definitely make myself available, even if I have to leave someone behind. You know what I mean? Thank you, gentlemen.
I understand.
I will talk to you all real soon, and I salute all of you all in Louisville. Thank you. NFAC for life.
appreciate you, brothers, man.
Love y'all.
No problem.
Thank you.
Love you too, bro.
Hey, David, man, get in touch with me so we can get this stuff in order, man.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Let me shut this off. Cut that off. Cut that off. Cut that off. You just witnessed a meeting between myself, the city council, and representatives of the mayor's office for Louisville, Kentucky, concerning the murder of Breonna Taylor. They do not want the NFAC to march into their city fully armed because they know we don't come to protest. We're not coming to demonstrate. We don't come. We come because we want justice. Now, as you all have heard, that's why I let you hear this, so there's no misconstruing of what happened. The Attorney General is the one that has to make the decision. The Attorney General is someone that does not report to anyone. He is elected by the people, and it appears that he is not doing the will of the people. So, therefore, I have requested that they bring him before me. Once they bring him before me, as you all will see, I'm going to ask a very direct question. When will we be able to see some traction in getting justice for Breonna Taylor? If he gives me a definitive timeline, NFAC members, I want you to stand by, because one day after that, if we don't get what we want, we march into Louisville. So that is going to be based on another meeting that will probably be coming forth. In the meantime and in between time, I want y'all to pay very close attention to what's going on. This is how you get results. You don't just go out and sit and waving signs and singing and all of that. You have to engage these people and find out, what are you doing for my people? Because there's no reason for us to be where we are right now. When I know something, you'll know something. NFAC, stay on alert, and everybody else stand by. In the meantime, I've got more work to do on your behalf. I told you, I will teach for you and I will preach for you.